Hello, what's John, your movie madman, and I'm back. And today we've got another digital film review for you today, so I've got nothing to show you again, sorry, but today we're going to be talking about The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, and The Witch Part 2, the other one. So let's start with the first one, The Witch Part 1, The Subversion. Now, I'll start with a little bit of background for you. I didn't even know this film existed. Like most people don't know this film exists. A lot of people get The Witch Part 1, The Subversion confused with The Witch, which is some horror film made by the guy who made Lighthouse. But this isn't that. This is a Korean action film, which surprisingly doesn't really have anything to do with witches, so I'm not really sure why it's called The Witch to start with, but it's not up to me to give the titles out. So anyway, I was looking around on my digital lab looking for a film. I think I was just having a bored day and I was like, I need to find a film that I haven't seen. What could there be? I then found The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, and I tell you what, when you got a film that is Deadpool meets The Matrix meets John Wick meets Jason Bourne in one film, I just clicked on that buy button straight away. I was like, well, I love all of those films, so let's see how the Koreans handle those films as well. And bloody hell, bloody hell, like, I was very surprised how much I really enjoyed that film. I mean, when you go into a film thinking I'm going to really enjoy this, and then you come out and it was a lot better than you thought it was going to be, that's quite a high up on there. This film went straight onto my top 69 list after the first time watching it. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. It's about a little girl who is brought up in like a little school for kids that are receiving abilities, a bit like X-Men. So you got a little school of X-Men children that all have, usually most of them are telepathic and they make things float, and that's literally about as far as their powers go. I mean, there are some of them that can jump really far distances, debatably flying, but they bring that out a lot more in the second one, which we'll go into momentarily. So yeah, then this little girl escapes from her little children's home, gets away from the bad guys because she's good like that, and then the film picks up like, what is it, like 10-15 years later, something like that, when the little girl is like a teenager. So that's probably more, 10 years later, little girl's a teenager, and these bad guys from the school come looking for her, and that is all I'm going to tell you about the first one, because there's a lot of little twists in there that you don't see coming, and I'm not going to spoil any of them. But if you love a Korean action film, then I thought The Witch Part 1, The Subversion was absolutely brilliant. Like, I love films like The Raid and The Night Comes for Us and Triple Threat. There's no Iko Uwais in these films, so I was a bit upset about that, but you know, I was quite happy to see a girl as the main character being the one that does all the fighting, and flip an egg, it was so good. I really enjoyed the first film. So then the second film comes along. Now the second film was one of these films that was affected by COVID. In theory, it should have been filmed and edited and released, like, I think it was something like 9 months after the first one had come out. They were all ready to go, but then obviously the first one comes out 2018, I think the first one came out, and as they're getting ready to shoot the second one, all this COVID bollocks starts. So then the film got delayed to being even shot until, I think, last year. They didn't even film the film until last year. Not that that's a problem. That's not a problem at all. I think a lot of people will watch the first one, then just forget that there's even a second one on the way. Apparently there's meant to be 3, and judging by how the second one finishes, if there's not a third one, I'm going to be very upset. So anyway, the second one, The Witch Part 2, the other one, I don't know what to say. The second one is an absolute mess. It was almost like whoever made that film literally wrote about 7 stories and tried to play them all out at the same time, but then they just missed out really important bits from each story and then put it all on top of each other. To be fair, there is a lot in the second one which is just as good as the first one. There is a lot in the second one that's probably better than the first one, but that story running through the second film is absolutely awful, and the film has no idea what's going on. For half of the film, the characters look like they have no idea what's going on. There's like some weird, I think he's meant to be British. There's some weird British guy in there that feels like he's meant to be there for comic relief, but then he keeps doing like all these really cool hardcore fighting things. So it's like, well, you're not the comic relief, so why do you keep trying to be funny? But yeah, I think every time you see a Korean film and they put like American actors in it or British actors in it, those actors always look awful. It's either that or Korean people just don't know what good American or British actors are, and they're just like, oh, we'll have him, yeah, we'll have him. Can't act, yeah, it's fine, neither can we. But you don't notice it with us, do you? Because you're too busy watching the... Yeah, so I'd say you guys want to get out there, have a look around online, because it's going to be quite difficult to buy these. I still don't have physical copies of either of these films, but I did well because I was able to buy them both on Google Play. So you can buy them digitally. I'm pretty sure you should be able to buy them on Prime Video as well. If not, you should be able to rent them on Prime Video. But yeah, I mean, The Witch Part 1, The Subversion, The Witch Part 2, the other one, get them both. I mean, the second one, like I say, the second one was a bit of a mess story wise, but it was still a really good and fun action film, which is what you look for in a good and fun action film, isn't it? Fun action. Just see them. Get a Google Play account, start buying your own digital films. Most of them are only like £4, and people are like, oh, I don't want to buy it. Oh, why not? Like, don't take up space on your shelf. If anything, a digital collection's better. It's not. Physical copies are always better. That's why I'm trying to get everything I have in my digital collection on physical as well, which isn't always easy because a lot of the films I found digitally you just can't get anywhere. That's why they're available digitally, because they're just like, oh fuck it, we'll give them a digital code for it, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go now. I'll be back next week. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be great, and I will see you again soon. Okay, alright, goodbye.